What is up, everyone? Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A. As always, I'm your host, Paul J Lipsky. So on this channel, I talk a lot about different side hustles and different ways to make money online. More specifically, we talk a lot about drop shipping onto different marketplaces like eBay, like Facebook Marketplace. We've done Amazon in the past. So if you have questions about any of that stuff, that's what this hour is all about, or half hour, however long it takes for me to answer all the questions that you all have. So if you're here, jump into the live chat just like George and Lisa did and ask some questions, and I will do my best to answer those for you. All right, so I do have an announcement I want to make in just a few minutes, but let's give a little bit of time for everyone to get here. And in the meantime, I will jump into the chat and see what kind of questions you all have. So we have George. He says, hey Paul, when you change the title to the product, do you maximize the words or just leave it to make sense? Great, George, great question. So what George is talking about is when you create a new listing on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace, you always want to go in and actually change the title. The title that's given to you by the supplier, like whether that's Walmart or Amazon or wholesale supplier, it's usually not a very good title. It's not well optimized at all. So you actually want to go in and optimize it. And that means filling it with keywords that people are actually searching for when they're looking for that item. So that's what you want to target, those keywords. And George says, do you need the title to make sense or maximize the words? And it's both, George. So both marketplaces, every marketplace puts a limit on how long the title can be, how many characters long it can be. You want to fill that up as much as possible while having it make sense. So you don't want to just put a bunch of garble in there just to fill it up. No, you actually want to fill it with words that make sense, that are researched keywords that people are going to be searching for when they're looking for that item. But you want as many of those as possible so that it increases the chances that someone's actually going to find your item. So yeah, great question there, George. And I have some videos here on YouTube and about how to do title optimization. Plenty of videos in my course about that as well. So you'll be able to find a lot of examples there. Lisa has a similar question. First, she says, congratulations on 100,000 subscribers. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. It was a lot of hard work over the last few years. And I'll be making a full video about it at some point, probably in the next couple of weeks. I'm waiting for my silver play button to arrive first, and then I'll make a video about that. But thank you, Lisa. So she wants to know, when you edit, or do you edit descriptions before listing? I have been editing typos, but also the repetitive text, which seems to be on all of them. Thank you, Lisa in Manhattan. So yeah, that makes perfect sense, Lisa. Yeah, so like I mentioned before, when you list items, we optimize the titles. So there's some people who would ask, should we optimize the descriptions as well? Should we go through those and make them better? In an ideal world, you would do that. It would help, it does help, to go through the descriptions and check them for grammar and punctuation and spelling, and also just to make them easier to read and just better in general. Unfortunately, I think that takes too much time to do that yourself manually, to go through every single listing and not only do the title, which I think is a lot more important, but also to do the description as well. So that's why we've never optimized the description. We've just quickly scanned it to make sure there's nothing in there like a manufacturer's warranty. We'll delete anything about that. We'll delete any phone numbers and any emails in there as well. Sometimes there's links back to the supplier's website. We'll delete those as well. As long as it doesn't have that, I've always been happy and just kind of left it. Things have changed though recently, and that's because of AI. ChatGPT in particular, I've used to rewrite descriptions, and I've just been blown away by how fast and good it is at writing descriptions. So I made a video about this on YouTube about using ChatGPT for dropshipping. And in that video, I think I grabbed an item from AliExpress and I grabbed the description from AliExpress, which wasn't very good. Of all the different suppliers, the suppliers that you drop ship from that are from China tend to have the worst descriptions. So I grabbed that description, it was pretty bare bones. I gave it to ChatGPT and I just said, make this better and sell this product for me. And I was just blown away at the description it wrote in a matter of seconds. So that could be a way to optimize your descriptions without a lot of really mental work or even a lot of time on your part, especially if you're starting out. Because when you're starting out, you want every competitive edge that you can get. And certainly optimizing your descriptions when other people like myself wouldn't be doing that, that can give you that competitive edge. And using ChatGPT, it's pretty easy to do. So personally, I don't do it just because of scalability, but in the beginning, it may be worth you doing it, Lisa, especially if you're going to use AI to just kind of do it for you. Hey, what's up, Mike D? Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. All right, Kared says, is there a way to automate inputting data into the sales spreadsheet that you have in your Facebook Marketplace course? I'm a bit overwhelmed watching all of what we have to input for each order. Never used a spreadsheet before. So spreadsheets can look overwhelming. I think that the way that they're designed to be used is a bit overwhelming. I've used them in a very simplistic way where I just kind of put in basic information. I'm not using it really for too many calculations. I'm just grabbing raw information and putting it in, using the spreadsheet to organize it, not really using it to its full potential, which has like a bunch of formulas and stuff. So if you think of it like that, it might be a little bit less overwhelming. I will revisit that spreadsheet and what I originally told you all to put in there, because honestly, you don't need a lot when you're doing this, because you can always go back and look up the information on Facebook Marketplace. So I don't know a way to automate that. There isn't one as far as I know in order to automate putting that information in. But I think if you do it for each order as they come in, it's not going to be too bad. And you don't need all of the information. It's just whatever information that you feel that you want for your business. But sometimes I've seen some spreadsheets from other people that are crazy big and they ask for so much information. And I'm like, it's going to take me 5 minutes every time I have an order just to fill in the spreadsheet with all that information. So I try to keep it more streamlined, just like a few things that you have to put in there. And that's something that you get access to when you join my Facebook course. So Tyler says, I know you say to avoid VeRO items, but what about stock images and descriptions? Because I know a brand can have copyrights on the photos and descriptions that may not be on VeRO list. So that is the VeRO program. What you're describing, Tyler, is the VeRO program. So the VeRO program is eBay's verified rights owner program. And that's when certain brands say, hey, we don't want people using our stock images and stock descriptions without our permission. So they tell eBay that, and if eBay finds that you're doing it, they'll delete that listing and usually penalize you for it by suspending you from eBay for a day or a couple of days. So you don't want it to happen. Now, luckily, when you use software to list on eBay, it will tell you, hey, this is a VeRO item. You probably don't want to sell it. So that comes up twice. First, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. It went away. Okay. First, when you're doing product research with Zeek Analytics, Zeek will tell you, hey, this brand, DeWalt is a VeRO brand. So it's going to alert you right there, say, alert, VeRO brand, don't sell this. If you ignore that or you don't see it, or you don't use Zeek Analytics, when you go to list the item with AutoDS, AutoDS will do the same thing. It will tell you, hey, DeWalt is a VeRO item. You don't want to list it. So that's another reason to use both Zeek Analytics and AutoDS, because you get both of those warnings right there. But yeah, that's exactly what the VeRO program is. Yeah, so credit, if for the same thing for items listed spreadsheet, if you're feeling overwhelmed by it, just put in the information that you feel like you want to keep track of. You don't need everything in there. And like I said before, I'm not a fan of huge spreadsheets with a ton of information. I think it's overkill for sure. All right, let me get to the announcement. First, let me know if you guys can hear me. I've never used this mic for a live stream before, but I already had it set up because I was recording a YouTube video. So I wanted to give it a shot. That way I don't have the mic right in front of my face. So let me know if this is coming through clear to you all, and you can hear me just fine. So I want to go ahead and tell you guys the announcement. Not a huge deal, but for those of you who are members of my courses, I have an eBay course, a Facebook course, and an Amazon course about dropshipping. All those courses have gone through an evolution over the years. And when they first started out, they were just courses, and then they turned into communities. So when you signed up, you used to get access to not only the videos in the course, but also ongoing support through a Facebook group. Now, I had a Facebook groups up and running for several years, and really there was nothing really wrong with those Facebook groups. Facebook groups inherently have some limitations to them. There were some problems with them in terms of us knowing who was in there that was actually a member, that was a paid member, and who wasn't. There was a little bit of issue with that. So I decided to try an experiment where I actually created a forum on my own website is using a program called Circle. And that was like a private website that you could log into and access the forums in there. It wasn't a Facebook group. And I've been doing that for about 2 years now. And quite honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, it was a bit of a failed experiment. And I probably should have cut it off sooner. And the reason for that is because when the group was on Facebook, it was easily accessible to people. All you had to do is log into your Facebook account. You can go, and while you're in there anyway, you can go into the group and ask questions and help out other students who had questions and post up results and all of that. And it's a pretty active community. And then over time, when I brought it over to the Circle, it wasn't as popular. And I tried to make it more popular. I tried to get more people to kind of interact in there, and it just wasn't catching the same momentum as the Facebook group. So all that said and done, we are moving back to Facebook for that reason, to get more engagement in there and to have more people active like it was when we used to have the Facebook group. So we're going to come full circle with this. I'm sorry to everyone that's kind of been through this process once already, but now's a good time to do it. I've just made some big changes to all the courses for the better, and I think this is going to be for the better as well. So that's going to be coming down the pipeline in the next week or so, going to be moving back over to the old system on Facebook, and I hope this is going to have better results for everyone as well. And there are some other things, some special things I'll be doing with that as well to kind of make it more worth the while to move over to the Facebook group away from the private website. Yeah, so that's the announcement. If anyone has any sort of issues with that, please let me know. Like, this is, again, all experimenting for me. I'm not sure what the best avenue is, but what I'm seeing, it seems to be the Facebook group. I don't see a better way to do it, honestly. So, yeah, that's the announcement. So let's get back to the questions. Everyone says they can perfectly hear me. Sounds good. So thank you for that quick feedback. I appreciate it. All right. Christian says, is there any automation software that can automatically upload and publish an item to Facebook Marketplace? Is it possible? Yeah. So myself and my team, we developed a Chrome extension that specifically does that. So if you head on over to the description of this video, there'll be a link to it, or you can just search on Google for the Dropshipping Titans Marketplace Helper. And what that will do is allow you to list items onto Facebook Marketplace from Amazon, from Walmart, from AutoDS, Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot as well. So that way, all you have to do is click one button and it copies everything over to a new listing on Facebook Marketplace. Because Facebook Marketplace, unlike eBay, unlike Amazon, unlike Facebook Shops, doesn't have an API program, which means that there's no way for software to really talk directly with marketplace, Facebook marketplace. So we can't have software that works as seamlessly as AutoDS does with eBay. With AutoDS, you just plug an item into it and it lists it to eBay in the background for you automatically. That can't happen with Facebook Marketplace due to the limitations. So this Chrome extension is the workaround for that. That works. So that is a paid extension because we have servers, we have to, and we make money from it. So you can try it out. And yeah, the link for it is in the description below. Welcome. Yeah, remove warranties from descriptions. Those don't really pass along to the buyer anyway. And we'll just make your life harder. You're not that late. You're good, man. Steven says, hey, I noticed that eBay keeps randomly lowering the price of my items after I raise it up. It just reverts back to the old price. Why? Well, my guess is that it's actually AutoDS that's doing that. So if you're changing the price on eBay, then what's happening is AutoDS is every hour when it looks through all of your listings to see if there's any price or stock level changes, it's noticing that your price isn't right based on your AutoDS settings. So then it's going to update it to be accurate according to its settings. So you actually have to go into AutoDS and update the price, or better yet is actually update the settings on AutoDS for that supplier so that you can have all your items just be accurate and kind of adjust accordingly to how they change with the supplier. Okay. How many items do you or your virtual assistants typically list per day? Do you aim to list products 7 days a week? Thanks. So I'll answer the second part of your question first. Do we list 7 days a week? No, we don't list every day, and I don't do any listing. My virtual assistants do them. It's more about consistency. So my VAs list 5 days a week during the work week. They take weekends off. But there's flexibility in there with that job because they can list on the weekends if they wanted to, or list during the week. It doesn't matter. But they list during the week. That's when they do all the work. So they list during the week consistently every day, something going on. And I think that's the most important thing, just having consistency. So you don't have to list every day. But I would get into a regular schedule, maybe every other day, maybe just an hour every day, something like that, just to show eBay you're in there on a regular basis adding products. That is something that eBay likes, we've found. They just like consistency. They like seeing you in the system doing something with your account. And it doesn't have to be like every day of the week. And then how many items per day? Not a lot. I wouldn't consider it a lot. It's about 15 or so, 10 to 15. And that's because I really want them going in there and spending a lot of time on product research. I don't want them listing up 50 items a day because that means they're not doing product research. They're not optimizing the titles. They're just like boom, 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 boom listing. So yeah, I'd rather have fewer listings that are just done right. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, Sarfraz says, I'm from Pakistan. I would love to enroll in your Amazon dropshipping course, but I can't afford the $297. Please, will you help me? So my Amazon course is something that I closed down probably about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago because I stopped selling on Amazon. I stopped dropshipping on Amazon, to be honest. Or I stopped selling entirely on Amazon because I was taking a break from it. And I also thought that Amazon dropshipping was just too difficult for beginners, quite honestly. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and there's just some difficulties with getting set up. Now, in the past few months, some of that has changed because I actually did start selling on Amazon again. Although not dropshipping, it's with FBA. I feel more comfortable because I'm in there and I'm working on Amazon and I'm more familiar with the system again. And also because AutoDS started working with Amazon, dropshipping on Amazon, which actually makes a huge difference. Because the software that existed before for Amazon dropshipping, while it was great, it was expensive and I thought it was difficult and confusing to use. AutoDS is just a lot more straightforward and streamlined. So based on that, I decided to reopen the Amazon course for enrollment. I'm not talking about it very much because again, it's not like a focus of mine, Amazon dropshipping. And I did update it for some new stuff so that things make sense now in 2023 and with AutoDS. And I lowered the price as well because, like I said, it's not a focus of mine at the moment. But I don't really advertise it. I'm not even sure what the website is to get there. I think it might be dropshipping.com/Amazon. I'm not even sure. But I think it's less than $297 right now. So try going to dropshippingtitans.com/Amazon and checking out what the price is because it might actually be less than that. And you might actually get a bit of a deal on it. Andrew, always thinking the big picture, thinking ahead. Andrew says, have you ever thought of duplicating your eBay store into a Shopify store? Is there a way to get customers to migrate over without violating eBay's rules? Good question, man. So let's unpack that for a second. So one way of looking at this, which is the wrong way, is you list some items up for sale on eBay, and when customers message you, you tell them, hey, if you buy it from my website, and here's a link to it, you can actually get it for cheaper because I don't have to pay eBay fees over there. Do not do that. Okay, do not do that because that will for sure get you in trouble with eBay, possibly banned from eBay. So don't do that. Now, I'm not saying that's what you're suggesting, Andrew. I'm just throwing that out for anyone who might be thinking along those lines. What Andrew, I think, is more talking about is, okay, we know that these products do well on eBay, like a list of like 100 products. Let's create a Shopify store with those exact same products and sell them over there. It's an interesting idea, Andrew. It definitely is. And just as you kind of alluded to, the difficulty with that is, okay, how do we get people to actually visit that website? That is the challenge. And there's many different ways to do that with advertising on like Facebook, TikTok influencers, different things like that, Google SEO. But another option is, hey, can we kind of like steal our customers from eBay? And that is for sure not allowed, but I'm sure people do it, right? Because you can get all of, some contact information from your buyers and maybe try to market to them. I'm not saying it's what you should do because again, it's definitely not allowed, but yeah, it's something that people have definitely done. I know that for sure. But you would definitely be violating eBay's rules by doing it that way. Okay. So a follow-up question to the VeRO question. Is there a way to figure out which items are VeRO? Well, yeah. Again, just use the software. Zeek Analytics and AutoDS will alert you. It's not 100% because there's always new brands being added. But the cool thing is that with AutoDS in particular, when you get in trouble for VeRO, eBay sends you a message that says, hey, there's a VeRO violation. Now, all of your messages that you get on eBay can be read inside your AutoDS account. So AutoDS looks for those messages and takes note of the brand. So they have one of the best lists out there for VeRO to avoid VeRO brands. So yeah, that would be my suggestion, is make sure you're using that software. Saz Forever says, how do virtual assistants work? Do you pay for items once the VAs put them in the basket, or do you send them the payment and let them handle everything? So Saz here is talking about having your virtual assistant fulfill orders for you. So you sell some items on eBay, Now you need to buy them from like Walmart and have Walmart ship them to your customers. So you do that yourself in the beginning, or you have AutoDS do it for you. AutoDS can automatically fulfill orders for you from certain websites like Amazon, like AliExpress, and some other ones. Or you have a virtual assistant do it. So the question is, if you have a virtual assistant do it, what's that process like? Because you don't want to give your virtual assistant your credit card information, right? And look, you don't have to, okay? So the way it works is the VA will log into your AutoDS account, so you don't even need to give them access to your eBay account. And inside AutoDS, they can see all of your orders. If you don't have AutoDS, you can have them log into your eBay account. They see all the orders, and they go over to the supplier's website, like maybe that's Walmart, and they add the first item to the cart, and they go through the checkout process just like you would. And on the last screen, it says, how are you going to pay for this? Well, they're going to be logging into your Walmart account, and your Walmart account will already have your credit card information stored in there. So they can just click on that. You don't have to give them your credit card information. They might need the verification code, which you can give them, and then they buy the item. And that way you never have to give them your credit card information. And it's the same for every other website. Same for Home Depot. It's the same for Amazon as well. And that way, you know, no credit card number has to be exchanged with your virtual assistant. The other option there is you can give them gift cards and have them pay with gift cards. But I don't see anything wrong with using credit cards. Do you usually use both wholesale and resale suppliers for dropshipping? Yeah, you can use both in one store if that's what you're asking. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're staying organized. I think it's a good way to kind of spread out your risk and kind of have some diversification in there by having both retail and wholesale suppliers going on, because there's pros and cons to each of them. So to be able to take advantage of both of them is great. Chances are you'll get more sales with retail dropshipping because it's just so much easier to get started and scale it up. But with wholesale, it's a nice cushion because those items will probably have higher margins. Just a little bit more work to get it set up. Christian says, do you think Facebook Marketplace is better, or should I list on Facebook Shops? I'd say you do both, because these kind of go back and forth as to which one does better. Right now, we're seeing Facebook Marketplace is doing better than Facebook Shops, but that's gone back and forth in the past, so you might as well do both of them. I wish Facebook Shops was just like the clear winner, because it's honestly better. There's a lot more features that Facebook Shops has that Facebook Marketplace doesn't have, but, you know, just go with both of them. Honestly, Mike, I don't know how long it takes my VAs to complete listings. I don't know. I pay my VA who does my eBay account a salary. As long as they get the work done, I'm happy. They have to list a certain range of items every day or every week and do the other work. And as long as they do that, I'm happy. I don't know how long it takes them to list, though. I can't imagine it takes too long. Okay. No Woofo says, does your Facebook Marketplace extension or AutoDS handle supplier price adjustments on Marketplace? So my Chrome extension does not. All it does is list the item. AutoDS does do it, but I find when there's no API like there is with Facebook Marketplace, I find it's better to do the price adjustments manually. Now, AutoDS will keep track of that, meaning AutoDS will alert you, hey, this item, its price changed, or this item is now out of stock. And when you get that email, you can go onto Facebook and change it, update it. So it's not fully automated, but when you don't have API, that's the way that I would handle it, just to make sure everything is running smoothly. Mani says, hey, Paul, quick question. How do you handle returns with eBay dropshipping? So returns are actually really easy with eBay dropshipping when you're using retail suppliers, because all you're going to do is, once the buyer contacts you and says, hey, I want to return this, either they'll message you or they'll open up a return case. You just have to go to your supplier, like Walmart, and tell them, hey, look, I want to return this item. Walmart or whoever is going to send you a prepaid return label that you can download to your desktop and then open up a chat with the buyer and say, hey, you want to return the item? Here's a prepaid return label. Just print it out, box up the item, put this on the box, and ship it back. Once they do that, Walmart will refund them, you refund the customer, and that's it. It's going to go right back to Walmart, so you don't have to handle the item at all. Yeah, so pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Kind of the same way that you would return something if you bought it from Amazon or Walmart. Juan says, I started dropshipping AliExpress to eBay. I made like 166 bucks. So congratulations. Proof of concept right there, Juan. Congrats. The only problem is eBay's taking a long time to give the money, and also AliExpress takes a long time. So eBay doesn't give the money to you right away. They're going to hold it for a little bit to make sure you're actually going to fulfill the order. And then they release the money to you, and at that point, how long it takes to get depends on your bank. So you just want to be aware of that. That's just a reality that's always going to exist. So I would fulfill your orders using credit cards. Because credit cards will give you about a month before they start accruing interest, sometimes more. And so that way you can put it on the credit card, wait for the payment from eBay. And once you get that payment from eBay, then you can pay off the credit card and keep the rest as profit. So that's the way you have to do it. AliExpress, though, this is also part of the problem because AliExpress isn't delivering the items or taking a long time. I stay away generally from drop shipping from China. AliExpress, they do have US-based warehouses, so if those are available and they have good delivery times, then yeah, by all means you can use them. But if you're drop shipping from AliExpress from China, that's also okay, but you have to have the right expectation. That's going to take a long time. And you have to put on the listing, this item is coming from China. It's going to take X amount of days or weeks to arrive. And I would for sure avoid the items that take over a month to arrive, because even if you put it in the listing, the customers are going to be upset if they have to wait over a month for their item. So just make sure the customer has a realistic expectation about it, and that you do as well. Or just stick with the US warehouses. Which platform is good for dropshipping, eBay or Amazon with your experience? And I'm trying from Pakistan. Is it possible? So in general, for US citizens, I'll say that the easiest place to start is with eBay. Amazon is obviously a huge marketplace, but it's a lot more difficult for beginners to start on Amazon. If you have some experience, yeah, you can go for it. You're definitely going to face a lot of challenges with it, but it is worth it. Like I have some students that are still doing Amazon dropshipping after years of doing it. It's when I first released the Amazon course, and their numbers are just crazy, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in sales. So that's certainly possible with Amazon. It just takes a long time to get to that point, and a lot of dedication and focus, and some hardships as well. But if you're willing to do that, that is an excellent place for anyone to sell, is on Amazon, of course. But eBay is definitely a lot simpler and more straightforward to get started, a lot more beginner friendly. Dropshipping from when you're living in Pakistan, I honestly don't know. I live in the United States. I sell on eBay.com and Amazon.com. So in that way, I'm kind of privileged, and it's a very straightforward process. Like, these websites are made for people like me to sell. If you're outside the United States, that's not what it was designed for people outside the United States. So it's going to be a lot more difficult for you. And honestly, I don't know everything that you need to do to make it to work, unfortunately. Is it okay if I list 20 products a day on Facebook Marketplace? Yeah, as long as you scale up to that point. I wouldn't start by listing 20 products a day. List a few, or even just one day for a couple of days, a few days, then do a few a day, and then a few more a day, and a few more a day. And then you can get up to 20, and you can stick with that. But the problem is, if you're doing 20 a day, there's a good chance that those aren't well researched. Although with Facebook Marketplace, no, I shouldn't say that, because with Facebook Marketplace, it is a bit easier than eBay for product research. So yeah, 20 I think is a good number. Should I be concerned with a spike in sales on eBay? I wouldn't worry about it too much. Any sort of spike in sales in general can set off a red flag with eBay. But if it happens, I would just let it happen and keep moving forward. It's more about not listing too many items too quickly. As long as you're okay with that, you're going to be fine. Bob and Jen from Pittsburgh are here. They can't make the live, but they're going to catch the replay. So appreciate you guys. I'd love to hear the update next week on how you guys all are doing. Yeah, we just list the same products on both shops and marketplace at this point. Some will do better on one as opposed to the other, but that's what pruning's for. Pruning is when every couple weeks we go in and delete items that haven't sold in the past 2 months. Some items will sell on marketplace, so we'll leave them, and they won't sell in shop, so we'll delete them, or vice versa. Don't worry about this. So Monty says, is it best to choose items that are sold by a third party and shipped by Walmart? Is it okay to write mark as gift and delivery instruction if a gift option is available? So as long as the item is being fulfilled by Walmart, which are the Walmart items, then you're going to be fine. In the beginning, I would steer away from third-party sellers on Walmart until you gain more experience, because some of them, quite frankly, are drop shipping onto Walmart themselves. So you're just like another step along the process where something could go wrong. So I would stick with Walmart in the beginning, and don't worry about the gift option with Walmart at all. I've never seen them include the price in the box ever, and I never have selected gift option on Walmart. So don't worry about that. Do you have your VAs list to eBay and Facebook in parallel? I assume products that do well on one platform will do well on the other. That is a general rule of thumb, but it's just a rule of thumb. It's not truth. It's not factual 100% of the time. And so I would do separate research for both. But if you're a one-man shop, or you just have one VA, then certainly I think that's a good strategy to just do research once and then list the same products into both places. Quite frankly, what I do is I have one VA per store. So I have one VA doing Facebook Marketplace and a different VA doing eBay. So they're just doing their own research, and they're not talking with each other. So we're not doing it in parallel as you described it. But I think it's actually a pretty good strategy to make best use of your time, for sure, especially if you're, again, a one-man shop or just have the one VA. I don't think Facebook Marketplace is going to be saturated. And the reason for that is because Facebook Marketplace, the way the search works, it really lends itself to giving different results to different people based on where they are, and probably some other factors as well. So what I found is that I can run the same search on Facebook Marketplace in one location and the same search in another state, and the results will be very different. So part of that is based on the fact that Facebook still tends to show you up front, even if you choose to filter by items that are shipping only, it still seems to show you sellers that are selling the product closer to you. But I think there's other factors going in there as well. What we've just noticed, kind of what this boils down to, is that you're not always directly competing with everyone else selling the exact same product, because they're not going to show up sometimes, and you're not going to show up sometimes. And that's just the way it is on Facebook. I think maybe their search algorithm is not as good maybe as eBay or Amazon or whatever it is, but that's what we're seeing. So that's actually kind of a benefit, because it kind of spreads out the sales among many different sellers. Or maybe that is their strategy. Maybe they do want to share the sales a bit more than other marketplaces do. It's every Tuesday at the same time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern time. So it's a standing calendar event. Hello, what's up, Angelique? How you doing? I don't have any experience with Etsy print on demand. I think print on demand is great. It's so similar to drop shipping, but I've never done it, so I can't say. But it's really cool. You know, if you're an artist, I think it's a great way to do it. DB Cooper says, why would you say eBay is a good platform to drop ship? So, excuse me. eBay is great because the setup process is pretty straightforward and easy. It's a lot easier than Amazon. And the rules are a lot less strict than something like Amazon. So you're able to kind of mess up and you're going to be okay. Like there's some room in there to mess up, some wiggle room, and then you will, still be able to sell and not get kicked off just for one mistake. In general, we find that's what it is. And it's just been around for a long time. Just trying to tried and true, steady, it works. Facebook Marketplace is great, but it's new. We're not really sure where things are headed with it. And with eBay, it's just kind of like bread and butter. It's been there for forever. When sourcing from Walmart, have you had issues with third-party Chinese sellers tricking AutoDS into thinking the product is available for really cheap? No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I've never seen anything like that. So do you mean they're selling on Walmart, but they're tricking you with the price? Kind of confused by that. What do you mean? Dropshipping, yeah, like I said before, dropshipping on Amazon is still good. It's just difficult to get started. All right, go for it, man. Don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I don't ever share wholesale suppliers specifically that I've worked with, because that's kind of giving everything away, giving away the secret. You have to do the work and find the wholesale suppliers yourself. So you can go to a website like Inventory Source, and that has a lot of suppliers on it that will work with dropshippers. It's a pretty commonly known website, so it is going to be a bit saturated, but check it out because it's a good place to get started with it. Saz says, do you plan on making more Facebook Marketplace content? I haven't seen much from you and I want to start it. Yeah, man, I've made a bunch of videos this year already about Facebook Marketplace. And I do plan on adding a couple of things to the course this year, probably in the next couple of months. There are some more strategy updates. I'll be adding some to the eBay course, some to the Facebook course. I've actually already updated them a little bit. Didn't make a big announcement about it. So now they're updated for 2023, but these will be more strategies and tactics to help you do better on those platforms. So that will be added as well. But yeah, I've made videos on YouTube about Facebook Marketplace in the past couple of months. But the thing is, quite honestly, just being like totally honest about this, I just reached 100,000 subscribers. And in the couple of months leading up to that, I was like, I really want to get there. This is like a mission of mine since I was a kid. Well, when did YouTube even come out? I don't think I started looking at it till college, but ever since college, I was like, I've always wanted to be a YouTuber. And I don't know why. I just feel like I need to get the silver play button before I could even consider myself that. So I was like, the last couple of months, I was like super focused on that. And what I've noticed is that certain content does better on YouTube than others. And certainly eBay dropshipping content does the best for me. Better, a lot better than Facebook Marketplace. So yeah, that's probably part of the reason, just because that content was doing better, so I made more of it for a while. But I backed off of that. You know, now that I hit 100,000, I'm just kind of gonna make more content that I actually want to make and that I'm excited to make, even if it doesn't do well on YouTube. And that I think is going to be helpful for you guys. Yeah, if you're posting, oh, you're saying if my listings don't get views. So first of all, don't count your, I'm trying to think of a new phrase here. Don't count your misfortunes before you even get started. I'm not in love with it, but it works. Don't anticipate having misfortune, I guess you could say. I don't like that too much either. Yeah, I'll have to think of something better. But the point is, so many people, before they start a business, before they start drop shipping, they think of everything that could go wrong. And they use that as an excuse not to get started. Don't do that. Because if you do that, you'll never get started with anything, and you'll never be successful, because you can't be successful at something until you actually start it. And I see this so many times. People are like, well, if I list on Facebook Marketplace, what's going to happen if no one looks at my listings, if no one buys from me? What's going to happen if I start ordering from Amazon and they shut me down because it's not allowed? What happens if the buyer gets the item and says, hey, I didn't buy something from Amazon, I bought it from Facebook? They think of everything that can go wrong, and they think, this can't work because I've thought of all these scenarios about what might happen. And yet, there are people like me, there are many people that are watching this that have done Facebook Marketplace dropshipping, and they've been successful with it, despite all those kind of fears that existed in us and other people before getting started. So it's just kind of about getting started. You know, of course, watch my YouTube videos, learn about it, learn all the mistakes that you can make. If you can afford it, join the course and learn about the pitfalls that you might encounter and kind of the snakes in the grass. So you can do your best at avoiding those. But a lot of times, all you have to do is just get started. And problems, yeah, they will definitely arise. But when they do, you're going to encounter them, and you're going to find a way to overcome them if you have your mind to it. And the people that are successful are the people that do that. So just kind of approach it with that attitude. And I promise you that if you want this badly enough, you're going to find a way to make it work. And I know that because I've been successful with it, and I know a lot of other people that have been successful with it as well. So there's no reason that you can't be successful as well if you put your mind to it. Yeah, if Walmart hasn't shipped that item, contact them. Say, hey, where's this item? Okay? Where is this item? And yeah, hopefully they can give you an answer and they can kind of push it along. Lisa, spitting the wisdom, says, people do this with healthy eating too. Just start. Yeah, just start things like any healthy habit, anything you want to change about your life. It's just about getting started with it. And you're not going to be perfect at first, right? That's probably the best way of putting this. You're not going to be perfect at first, and that's okay, right? You're going to mess up some listings. You're going to be eating salads every day, and then one day you're going to slip and eat pizza, and that's okay, right? It's about just having the mindset and consistently going after it, even if you fall off the bandwagon for a day. So I think that's a really good place to end it for today. Really great questions today, everyone. Really appreciate it. And just a reminder for all of my students, we will be transitioning back to a Facebook group in the next week or so. So keep an eye on your email about that, all the details, and I'll make sure that it's as smooth of a transition as possible. And I think that's going to be best for everyone. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week for the next live Q&A, Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Bye for now.